Come in, sir.
Come in.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Have your seat, Ayush.
Thank you, sir.
Have you taken COVID vaccines?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any symptoms of COVID?
No, sir.
So you can remove your mask. Introduce yourself to board members.
Sir, my name is Ayush Krishna. I have done my schooling from Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, Devgarh from 6 to 12. After that, I went to IIT Guwahati and pursued my engineering in BTech Engineering Physics. After that, I did a job in CGI Bangalore as a software engineer. And then I started preparing for civil services examinations, sir.
How long you worked in CGI?
Sir, it is 1 year, 2 months.
And why did you leave it? It was a good company.
Sir, yes, it was a good company, but while working in CGI, my role was very limited. I was doing coding for back-end and front-end, and coding job did not suit me, sir. I did not enjoy the job itself.
Okay. During your engineering physics courses, you studied about Python software programming?
No, sir. Not in engineering physics.
Okay. And do you generally know about Python programming?
Yes, sir. I know a little bit about Python programming. Yes.
What kind of uses it has?
Sorry, sir.
What kind of uses it is having, Python?
Sir, Python emerged as a software which is able to solve lengthy problems in a very short code. For example, when we talk about C and we have to do about a matrix multiplication, then we have to give input for different rows and columns. But in Python, we have a code directly. If we give mat and give the input, it will directly give us the answer. So Python has reduced the coding volume in terms when we compare about the earlier versions of the coding, sir.
It emerged as the second most popular programming language in the world.
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Sir, because a lot of algorithms are also inbuilt in its coding in backend. So we don't have to actually do the algorithm part in terms of describing more. So in very less number of code lines, we can do the same operations. That is why it is very much famous, and it is comparatively very easy to learn, sir.
Who created it?
Sir, I am not aware of that.
Okay. You come from Muzaffarpur.
Yes, sir.
And Muzaffarpur is known for its cultural activity. Can you briefly tell us some cultural achievements of Muzaffarpur as a city or town?
Sir, Muzaffarpur, when we in cultural achievements, we have festivals where people used to gather. In Shravan Mas also, in Muzaffarpur, people from different places come to visit Baba Baidhanath Dham. And in terms of cultural as well, the cuisine, I would say fruits of Muzaffarpur, lychee is very famous, and the lakh lati, that is very famous for women in marriage purpose. That is very famous of Muzaffarpur. So people from different places come there to particularly buy that product.
In the 19th century, Sarachan Chattopadhyay used to come to Muzaffarpur and stay there for a long period. Do you know why?
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay. Have you heard the name of Janaki Vallabh Shastri?
Sir, I have heard the name, but yes, I have heard the name, sir, but I don't know about him much.
Why he is famous? Do you know why Muzaffarpur is called Muzaffarpur?
Yes, sir. There was a ruler whose name was Muzaffar Shah, and from that name, that Muzaffarpur came into existence.
What is the stature of that ruler? At what level he operated as a ruler? Was he a ruler of entire Bihar or some parts of Muzaffarpur?
No, sir, he was not the ruler of entire Bihar, but the reason of Muzaffarpur right now, which it is there, more than that, it was its territory.
Okay. You are writing all kinds of examinations, UPSC, UPPCS, Bihar. If you get selected in UPSC, of course you will prefer to join UPSC. But if let's say you are selected in UPPCS as well as in BPSC, which job you will prefer?
Sir, I would be, first of all, I would be seeing which post I am getting in each of the service. And if that is equivalent, I will be definitely joining.
Let's say you are getting in both the states DSP post.
Yes, sir.
And?
Then I would be joining my home state, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Ayush.
Ayush.
Yes, ma'am.
So coming from Muzaffarpur, describe your district in the terms of flora and fauna.
In terms of flora, there are avenue plantations in which we have neem and we have amaltas and we have gulmohar, as well as people is very famous in our district. In terms of fauna, I would say still in Muzaffarpur we are fortunate to see sparrows and cows are roaming around, and particularly cows, dogs, nothing very specific about the fauna part, I would say, ma'am.
There's nothing specific?
Yeah.
Okay. So your name has a name of a god, Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
So what lessons have you learned from this, name or your the Lord Krishna?
When I think about Lord Krishna, one thing strikes me every time, that whatever things are going on, it's all about internal motivation. Every manifestation outside is just about the manifestation of yours. And similarly, the part of Karma Yoga particularly fascinates me, how he convinces Arjuna in that battlefield.
So explain to me, if a person is not attached to results, how does the motivation come to act?
Ma'am, this is the same question I think the Arjuna asked Lord Krishna. So the results tends to seem to be a motivation for the karma, but when we attaches to the result, we are actually not doing the karma. So the purpose, for me, what I think why we are doing karma is for achieving something. But what happens when we think of the result, we are actually demeaning the efforts of the karma. So ultimately we are not doing what we are trying to do. So I think it's a very easy way if we can understand it logically. So if we want to achieve something, let's focus on the karma, because that is going to get, and if you divide your attention, your efforts are going to divide it.
Okay, very right. You are a student of physics.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what are the different kind of forces in physics?
There are 4 fundamental kind of forces. The most strong one is a strong force. Then other is electromagnetic force, then third is weak force, and the fourth one is gravitational force.
And why a weak force is known as weak force?
Ma'am, the magnitude of the weak force is very weak, as well as the distance in which it is operated is also not very much, and it is in beta decay process it is being found.
Beta decay process.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And strong force is found between what two substances or items?
Strong forces are particularly found between nucleons, that is protons and neutrons, ma'am.
Very right. So you must have heard about Schrödinger?
Yes, ma'am.
So who was he and what was his theory?
Ma'am, Schrödinger is one of my favorite scientists. What he did, he totally changed the way we used to see physics. So in quantum mechanics, he gave how we are able to define mass in the particle in our physical world. Physical world, I would mean to say, which we are able to see. Schrödinger gave the equations, for example, force is equal to mass into acceleration we used to apply in our bigger objects. Similarly, Schrödinger equations have been given for nanoparticles, that is known as quantum particles. So in that governs the quantum space, ma'am.
Okay, very right. You also chant mantras.
Yes, ma'am.
How does it help you?
Ma'am, chanting mantra is a meditation for me. So I inculcated this habit from my school days also. So these help me to keep myself calm and composed.
Okay. What is the unemployment rate in Bihar?
Ma'am, exact percentage I think I may get wrong.
Okay, and the sex ratio of Bihar?
Sex ratio of Bihar is 935.
And what's the national average?
National average is, ma'am, 913.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my last question to you, give me 3 role models from Bihar who are female.
One is my mother for me, and other role model I could remember Shivani, because she recently fighter pilot she flown. One is she, and third I am not able to recall at this point of time, ma'am.
Thank you, Ayush.
Ayush, as you said about Muzaffarpur, it is rich in culture, and we know that Bihar is rich in culture, and there is great history of the Bihar. But tourism is very weak industry in Bihar. What are the reasons?
Sir, what I consider for a tourism to be good at any place is about its perception, first of all. And after perception, it comes about the availability of the tourist facilities. And the third is about its natural calamities, the frequency of those. So considering all those points, I would say Bihar somehow has a very bad perception which has taken place in our country, because sometimes it is also considered as a Bimaru state. And at the same time, there is the problem of floods are very much there, because every year floods are coming. So tourists are not very comfortable. But at the same time, when we see there are a lot number of tourists are coming to Bihar, and every year so the numbers of tourism is increasing day by day, considering the South Bihar where both Gaya, Nalanda and Rajgir and many places are coming up, sir.
Okay. What government is doing to promote the tourism industry in Bihar?
Sir, government recently is focusing more on infrastructural part, because when we see Rajgir itself, so Jew Safari, glass bridge, and there are a lot of many new avenues are being opened, and as well as government is promoting for digital reach for the tourism. For example, there are hotspots and the booths where a tourist can go and get all the details. For example, there have been cases where tourists have been duped by locals, and that is why there have been some certified guide people are been there that people can take and get assurance.
Okay. Do you heard about the Buddha circuit?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain for us?
So Buddha circuit is a tourist is under Ministry of Tourism, which tries to connect all the places of Lord Buddha through communication, as well as in terms of safety of the tourist, as well as the guide. And a few places that are in Buddha circuit is, first of all is Bodh Gaya, then Shravasti is also considered. So so these are the places which are considered through Buddha circuits. So basic agenda is connected through good transportation model and facilities of accommodation, everything.
It help to promote tourism in Bihar only, or it will help for the foreign policy of India as well?
So when we particularly see about Buddha circuit is a very large impact, because when we see Buddha, Lord Buddha, Lumbini is also connected in Nepal. So if a very good Buddha circuit is there, so we have very good relations from nearby countries. For example, tourists from Nepal will be coming and Sri Lanka will be coming. So there are many positive impacts from a Buddha circuit that is not just related to one state, rather than it integrates the whole world as well. There are many Buddhist people in the whole world.
How it help India to make its relation with South Asian countries and Southeast Asian countries?
Sir, when we see South Asian and South Asian countries, so the number of Buddhists are in good number there. So they also paid tribute coming to India, particularly Bodh Gaya. So in that way, it can increase our prospects.
Be particular about some countries.
In Myanmar, people are also Buddhist. In Thailand also, people used to follow Vajrayana Buddhism. So different sects of Buddhist people pay visit to us.
Okay, just last question from you, for you. Who is the speaker of the Vidhan Sabha of Bihar?
Sir, I just read last night, but I'm forgetting its name. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
Ayush, yes. Recently a report of National Family Health Survey has been published, and there are certain points of concern for Bihar in that report. It says that domestic violence against women in Bihar is 40%. 40% women complain about domestic violence, while in the neighboring state of UP it is less than 25%, and in Haryana it is less than 18%. So considering that entire Northern Indian plain is having similar culture for thousands of years, why in spite of uniformity in culture, violence in Bihar against women, particularly domestic violence, is so high?
So definitely it's a very unfortunate thing to happen in Bihar. But when I understand it on a ground level, so yes, the problem of domestic violence is there. But what could I understand these after going through the details why it happens? So the one reason was about the people, the low earning rung of the society. They used to spend their money in drinking and other substances.
You are presuming that domestic violence is happening only in poor families and not in rich and educated families?
No, sir, I am not presuming that. So what I want to convey is that domestic violence is an issue, but considering the recent trends, the women are now empowered where to complain, because there are ASA workers also who are being connected to the women. So earlier it was more, but women were not able to connect, because now there are schemes, there are mechanisms.
So you're again suggesting that domestic violence is actually declining, but reporting is increasing, so visibility is growing.
So visibility, and women are getting empowered, and there is a helpline number 112 also where women can get complaints. So I think, sir, this is a very good
still not hitting the root cause. You are not ready to accept that there are certain fundamental socio-cultural anomalies in the society which is expressing itself in violence.
Yes, sir, I totally accept that. There is a mindset of patriarchy that male are superior than female, even if both of them are earning the same. But at the same time, I have seen that this mindset is going away when the women are connecting to the social platform, and they are getting job opportunities, and they are able to go on a platform where they can utilize their skills.
In spite of this growing incidence of violence, longevity of women is also growing. How do you explain the paradox?
Sir, considering the longevity of women, I would say, sir, health infrastructure we have, because earlier the problem of iron deficiency was much more in women, and now central government as well as the state government is particularly focused on women health, where subsidized foods are given to them, and special care has been given to women. So for longevity, I would say we have increasing in health infrastructure, but considering the violence part.
Do you think reservation of 35% jobs in government services for the women may lead to flight of talent from Bihar, which is already having for last several decades? It will further accentuate the flight.
Sir, considering the situation of Bihar, where the people are coming to a mindset where they are sending their female child to education. So I think this will be a great boost to them, because still we are in a process where a female child are getting up and they are getting their opportunities. So in my opinion, sir, I think this will help the state of Bihar and nation to grow in a better way that is more women friendly.
My final question, Ayush, who is the woman Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar?
Srimati Renu, I am not remembering the...
Thank you, Ayush. Your interview is over.
Thank you,
go
sir.
now.
Thank you.
Be seated.
Thank you, sir.
So your interview is on 6th of June.
Yes, sir.
And today is 25th of May. So you're left with 10 days. How prepared do you feel with this experience?
Sir, with the interview, sir, there are a lot of things going on right now, sir. I have to give the prelims examination, and also I have my forest interviews on 15th of June.
How do you manage? You have to write 5th of June PT.
Yes, sir. I have to write 5th of June PT. Then I will be leaving on 5th to attend the interview on 6th. Then I will be coming back. I have to attend on 15th of June forest interviews.
Okay. It's quite hectic program. So, yeah, see, we find that you are given this hectic program, you don't need to bother much. Largely you are prepared. That is personality part of your presentation. If you look at the parameters, your entry is good, you greeted, that means you are mentally alert. Sometimes people have experienced loss of mind as to how to enter and greet. Sitting posture was good, hand movement was good, that means it was stable. Your flow of communication is, of course, good. You were found to be alert mentally, that means you received the questions well, responded in a fairly quick time interval. Just 2 points for improvement.
Yeah.
Your awareness about Bihar appeared to be low.
Okay.
So you may invest some time about your own town and district. And when somebody asks you about Sufi circuit or Buddhist circuit or Sikh circuit, you should immediately come with some 3-4 names of the places. Thereafter, the answer becomes more acceptable.
Yes.
So that at least socio-cultural programs of the Bihar state government. You may brush it
Yes.
through watching their websites, etc. So only these two things we found lacking. Other parts of your personality were good. That means your educational background, of course, is good. It didn't appear that you have not studied sincerely. Engineering, physics, whatever, time constant was there. There also we found that through school and colleges you have been a sincere person. So hopefully in administration also you'll be doing whatever, you'll be sincere. So that part of personality is good. So only thing about, I think, you're preparing so many exams that you're not able to focus on Bihar.
Yes,
So
sir.
invest some time there, maybe 3-4 hours.
Yes, sir.
Everything is fine. Hope you'll be doing good. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
That's it.